One team has punched their ticket to the 2025 FCIAC Championship. One still to be punched. New Canaan, Darien, another matchup between the historic rivalry of these two teams, these two towns, and these two fan bases all colliding here at Tom Fujitani Field for one of the bigger matchups of the entire season for both of these teams. New Canaan, Darien meeting with a spot in the 2025 FCIAC Championship on the line. Myself, John Frieders, to my right, PJ Neville, to my left, Tommy Fox, here to bring you through all facets of this game. It's going to be a big matchup between two top teams in the state of Connecticut, two top teams in the Northeast. We'll start with how we got here, though. Tommy, we called the last game together between Staples and Ridgefield, but let's talk about how both these teams got into this point where they're playing in the semifinal.
Yeah, so New Canaan, the 1 seed, it has really been just a perfect season for them so far. They had 1 loss, but aside from that, it's been a lot of winning. They absolutely blew past St. Joe's in the last round, 16-4, and it's a similar story for Darien. They had kind of an uncharacteristic regular season, going 9-6. Not something that Jeff Braymeyer and his group are used to, but they handled business. They took care of Greenwich, more than took care. 19-4 was the score, and now they face off here at Tom Fujitani Field, and the winner gets a date to Thursday night where they'll face Ridgefield.
See both of these teams getting ready to go at it. We'll start here, PJ, though. You called the last game. You mentioned a key matchup to watch during pregame. What's that key matchup to watch? And then also, what did you like from what you saw last time these teams met earlier this season?
Yeah, well, this Darien offense, they run through junior attackman Ryan Thurlow. The Villanova commit, he plays behind at X. He loves to facilitate the ball. He was, if I had to take a guess, he probably would have been the most recruited player in the nation. I mean, he just does it all. He's great from 5-5. He's great scoring, but he's also great dishing off the ball. And the Rams, they were able to lock him down last time with Bryce Line. They weren't able to, or he wasn't able to really get anything going. And that's when Darien started to have to play through other players. At Bilodeau, he was able to get a hat trick, although a couple of those goals were, I wouldn't call them flukes, but they were a little flimsy. They weren't really in settled offense, which, of course, you're going to get in a game like this, but Darien, they can't rely on goals like that and plays like that, so Line, he was able to dominate that matchup last time, and that's what I really liked about that last matchup was that New Canaan defense. They really facilitated that game as much as the New Canaan offense held on the ball in that second half. The Rams didn't even score a goal. It was Darien who really just couldn't get anything going on offense. And Jack Kroll played phenomenal as well. He had 10 saves in that second half alone. But that defense, they really huddled down around him and didn't let up a lot.
We'll see you back here on NCTV after the national anthem and the starting lineups. We'll be back here with some action to see who can punch their ticket to the 2025 FCIAC Championship in just a few moments. In just a few moments, the two FCIAC heavyweights will go to clash again. The 10-6 Darien Blue Wave against the 16-1 New Canaan Rams. The Rams right now ranked number 19th nationally, really aspiring off a bunch of really solid wins. Come off, of course, the big victory in the quarterfinal. But before that, they did have a tough end to the season, right? PJ Don Bosco was a big matchup.
Yeah, that Don Bosco team, they're a phenomenal program. They're always, one of the perennial powerhouses, not even just in the state of New Jersey, but in the Northeast. They're a great program, and, they had some very talented offensive players. I think everyone probably saw Brady Scaletti. He scored 4 goals against New Canaan. But the Rams, they were also able to lock down Johnny Dever with a guy like Bryce Lyden, who defended him for the whole first half. Then they eventually had to switch Lyden onto Scaletti because Scaletti was just doing too much on Will Hayes. Lyden was only let up 1 goal against Scaletti. So it was a very good defensive effort by the Rams, even though the scoreboard didn't really show it. But in that game, the offense also came alive. I mean, that first quarter, they had 5 goals. That was very similar to that early Darien game that the Rams played this season. So, expect a little bit like that, but not as much. I think Darien's offense is going to come out. They're going to try and settle the possession down a little bit more, and they're going to try to work it.
Talk about the big defense of New Canaan, but a guy that will be missing on offense here tonight, the senior captain, the only senior on offense in the lineup. But, of course, tonight a senior taking his place, Ronan Hillman, will be filling in for senior captain Henry Laddick. And, PJ, you followed the Rams all season. How do you think that's going to affect New Canaan's offense as JT O'Neill gets ready for the face-off against Dylan Weibel?
Yeah, I think that, as much as Laddick is a key contributor in this New Canaan offense, he does not dictate, how much they play. This New Canaan offense, very different to the Darien offense. They don't play through a specific person. Of course, you got the likes of Matt Reed and Gray Wildman and players like that. Campese, he's, definitely kind of the dictator from up top, I would say, but down low, the Rams really don't play through anyone. They like to share the ball and spread it and get different looks, and it really just depends on the matchup that you have. And I think that tonight, with Laddick out, it's not going to be the worst thing in the world.
Hayes' early shot saved by Persinger. Rebound pops free to the Blue Wave. Blue Wave running. Moving now into the offensive zone, just getting started here after JT won the original faceoff, the first faceoff of the game. Darien settling into their offense on the stick of Bilodeau, who you mentioned went to town the last time these two teams played.
Yeah, and that was really a best-case scenario for Darien to start the game. 2 things go wrong for you. You lose the face-off, and then you have Hayes, who's a spark plug coming right down the middle, winding up a shot. But then Persinger stands tall, makes a save, and now they're on offense.
And Hayes not afraid to shoot it. Likes to rip a couple shots every now and then. Scallon coming across. Good defensive play by Roby. New Canaan picks up the ground ball. Fighting for possession. Schwartz comes away. Feeds it off to Wildman. Wildman, the freshman sensation, came onto the scene this year already, making a big impact, scoring multiple goals. A game also with that big game winner against Iona Prep earlier this season.
Yeah, and that was a phenomenal check by Roby, but he loves to throw that overhead. I don't think there's anyone possibly in the country who likes to throw that more than Braden Roby, and he is phenomenal at landing it. But, I don't want to call it unnecessary because I don't know if a overhead check is ever unnecessary, but definitely, Roby was in stride with Scallon there. I think that he could have just settled down a little bit and threw a couple more checks, just, not going for the home run right away, but it worked out that time for Braden Roby, but don't expect it to work every time.
Roeder working his matchup. He takes the shot wide left. Fortunately, Matt Reed closest to the ball for New Canaan. New Canaan will retain possession. 9:56 remaining in this first quarter. New Canaan firing off a couple early shots. Big defensive play in the middle by the Blue Wave. New Canaan settles things down. And Tommy, one thing we talked about early in that first semifinal game, settling things down, being smart with shot selections, as Campese takes a shot and fires.
Yeah, Cole Campese, he didn't have his best game against St. Joe's. I think a lot of you guys who were watching that probably saw that. He took a lot of shots, but just wasn't able to connect with the cage on too many. So, he's out today. He's probably out for blood, if I were to assume.
Yeah, and like you said about goalie play, we haven't seen it yet, but New Canaan's got 2 of the best goalies in the FCIAC, and that's really a tough situation to be in as a team when you've got one guy going to Michigan and you can only play him for a half because the other guy's also so good. And Persinger, he's not one of the guys, not one of the names that might jump off the page to you. He spent a lot of time on the bench because Darien's had spectacular goalies over the years, but now he's out there. He started the game really well, and so look to see a lot of saves going forward.
New Canaan settles. Roeder feeds to Wildman. Wildman coming over top, looking met with physical contact high. Darien with the ground ball coming away.
And I mean, that's just what McNamara does best.
That was the Penn State commit. McNamara always going to be a big presence, and he's hard to miss out there. 6'8" figure, big on the ice, big here on the lacrosse field as well. Strong pillar of this Blue Wave defense that has been so good this season. You mentioned that 10-6 record, not reflective of how good they've been because of how loaded their schedule is. They play all the top teams in the country, Chaminade, Brunswick, and even playing in the FCIAC, Staples, New Canaan, Ridgefield, all perennial powers in the Northeast. Top is Jeffers. Jeffers taking a moment, surveying, looking. He's got a short stick on him in Wunderlich. Down low to X. Turning and burning. Looking met with aggressive defense. Strong check by Leiden. Mentioned Kim going to Michigan. Bryce as well going to Michigan. Darien closest to the ball. Remains possession. 7:51. No one's found the back of the net here early on in the first.
Yeah, and that was just the matchup that I was talking about before the game. Bryce Leiden and Ryan Thurlow. Thurlow was running for his life there. Leiden was throwing a couple of checks, getting really crafty, but Thurlow, he's not going to be able to hold on to the ball that long in a lot of situations. So, you know, Leiden, he didn't get the best of it maybe that time, but...
Drive by Bilodeau down the alley. He shoots and scores. Going low, quick bounce shot. Putting the Blue Wave on top, 1-0. Bilodeau finding a pocket. Able to put one in the back of the net.
Yeah, great take by Bilodeau. You know, he's such a physical player. He loves that bully dodge. He loves to just kind of drive his shoulder and get as much contact as he can, and he's able to work there on Hayes. And if you're New Canaan, you got to try and meet him out far, but also you got to be able to run with him. I mean, he is a great, you know, mix of size and speed, and Hayes is too. Hayes is a great matchup for that, but you can't overcommit, but you can't undercommit as well.
Bilodeau, one of the top commits in the country, committed to play at Georgetown, 3-year starter. He's just a junior as well, started as a freshman on this Blue Wave team. New Canaan far side, looking to establish possession. It's JT O'Neill, quick timeout by Coach Buzzio. And Buzzio just settling things down, giving his team an offensive possession after allowing the goal. And Tom, we talked a little bit about timeouts in that first game too as well. Coach Buzzio, one of the best in terms of knowing when and how to call them.
Yeah, that was a theme of the first game as well. And when it comes to timeouts, you only get 2 per half in lacrosse. But you don't want the first half to go by and you still have 1 or 2 left on the board. So if your team couldn't convert on 2 possessions before and you're down 1 already, get a timeout and get a game plan kind of put out there on the fly. And that's a smart move by Coach Buzzio.
Yeah, that was a great move by Coach Buzzio. You saw JT O'Neill. He was under duress. Yeah, you got Mark McNamara on one side of you and then the sideline on the other. So, you know, practically 2 defenders, and, you know, McNamara is trying to push you over to the sideline, but JT O'Neill, you know, as great of an athlete as he is still a Fogo. He's not that used to having the ball as guys like Reed, Wildman, even Laddick, but, you know, he was still able to hold possession enough, and you could kind of sense that Coach Buzzio was going to wind up calling one there.
New Canaan will retain possession, I should say. 7:13 remaining in this first quarter, just getting started. You know, in that first semifinal, we saw both teams go into the half tied at 5. Richfield came out in a frenzy, scoring 6, punching their ticket, but it's definitely interesting to see the momentum built. I mean, PJ, when New Canaan and Darien faced off the first time, New Canaan looked unstoppable in that first half, just dominating the Blue Wave.
Yeah, Darien, they came out slow, but it was really a matter of possession. Darien was not able to get the ball for practically that entire first quarter. So I think that's kind of been the difference, is that Darien is creating turnovers on the defensive end. New Canaan isn't settling it down as much as we saw just there.
Big defensive play in the middle.
Oh, great
Coming
stick.
down the lane, Mariska, good defensive stick by New Canaan. Stopping the momentum, Mariska coming down hot.
Yeah, good job there on the frantic clear and a quick shot.
Quick shot from the wing.
Just keeping
Just
him
wide
honest.
left. Did not hit anything. Blue Wave retained possession, 6:33. Remaining. New Canaan's defense extremely spread out right now. Hayes with the matchup on Bilodeau. One thing about this New Canaan defense, with the talent spread across, they can switch.
Oh, great
good save by Leiden in front. Point blank opportunity. Stopped at the doorstep by Leiden.
Yeah, and you see Darien, they keep going back to McBride here. The Rams, they're putting a shorty on McBride. They're putting Schwartz and Mazza, who are two very speedy and athletic players. And, you know, that matchup there, Darien's going to try and go back to that every single time just because of the nature of it, being a shorty. But, you know, McBride, he doesn't try to beat you with strength. He tries to beat you with speed. So when you got two guys like that, it's going to be a hard matchup. And if Darien keeps going back to it, eventually it's not going to start panning out well for them.
Watch out for cutters, too, as well. McBride, you look away for a minute, and he could be, behind your back. And
yeah, he loves looking to McNamara on the crease. That's, kind of Darien's bread and butter from up top.
Top is Roeder for the Rams, settling down in the corner to Campisi. Campisi working around the pick set by Mazabras. Campisi met with the big stick pass in front to Hillman. Hillman shot. Couldn't find the back of the net. A second opportunity. Just goes wide. And you see Persinger calling for a flag immediately, looking at the ref.
I think they're going to get a hold on maybe McNamara there, but that was a great find by Cole Campisi and a great look by Ronan Hillman. He went around the world on that. You don't see that every day, but Persinger, phenomenal job stepping up and making the save. You don't get a lot of those every game.
As he was falling down, too, as well, Campisi able to dish off to Hillman, and Hillman taking the spot of Henry Laddick, the senior captain, who's out sick tonight. Campisi to Roeder. Canaan's offense just being patient, looking for the right time to strike. Wildman on the corner. Long pass across. Top to Roeder. Quick ball movement by the Rams. Pass inside, attempt.
Oh, great check by Mazabras.
Hillman gets the ball back and stopped in front by Persinger.
Yeah, that's great awareness by the Rams, and that's a lot of hustle there from Braden Mazabras. He is a player who every single time he steps on the field, it's 100%. It's 110%, honestly. And, there's a reason why he's getting all this playing time and why he's seeing such a ramp up of, plays and goals and, more looks on offense, and it's because he gives all that effort.
Far side, Bilodeau guarded by Hayes. Bilodeau faking the toss. Far side still trying to get free. Free possession now for the Blue Wave after the flag was called. See, now the Blue Wave just stay patient, look for the right shot. They've got a bunch of offensive weapons around. Of course, McBride, we've mentioned, Thurlow, Bilodeau, all capable of putting the ball in the back of the net by themselves. Top is Lane. Down low, shot out of bounds. Man up opportunity for the Blue Wave. 3:48 remaining in this first quarter. The Blue Wave on top, 1-0. Roby will spend some time in the box. 30 seconds in the box for Roby.
They got him for a hold on that one. I was thinking that Braymeyer should have burned a timeout, but able to get out of it was Bilodeau and draw the flag, and now a man-up opportunity for the Blue Wave.
Blue Wave moving the ball around, looking for a shot. Shot does come from the stick of Scallon. wide right.
Yeah, that's what Darien wants. Scallon is your best step-down shooter. He's, I don't want to say only, but he is really one of your only step-down shooters on this team. Darien, they have a lot of great inside finishers, but not a lot of guys who could get it done from the perimeter like Scallon.
Another step-down shot. This time finds the back of the net. Scallon did not miss the second time. Top right corner past the stick of Leiden. 2-0 Blue Wave.
Yeah, that's just, that's what Darien was, that's what I was just talking about. Darien, they want to look for that shot for Scallon. They want to open him up from up top on the cycle. And, if you're not able to get it inside, Scallon from up top is probably your second best look.
On cue, PJ Scallon. Aims top right, finishes top right. 2-0 Blue Wave early. 3:21 remaining in this first quarter. The face-off opportunity. JT wins it. Ground ball picked up by Hayes, far side. Then checked away.
Oh, Hayes got a stick on it. Almost got it back.
Darien's a little too frantic here to get the ball back to the goalie. That's about the second or third time we've seen them fling it toward Persinger, but he wasn't ready for it.
Long pass up to Scallon. Scallon with some open room, weaving in. Shot saved by Leiden. Highlight reel save. Another save in front. And Leiden will slow things down. Says, well, let's go for a ride right now. Feeding it up to Sullivan. Sullivan coming across the middle. He's got a long pull on him. He elects just pauses at the 45-yard line. Sullivan looking to feed it off, which he does to Campese. Sullivan comes off, Roeder on. Another attackman for the Rams. Roeder working, making decision, going right, push to the outside, feeding down low to X. The near side Campese. Campese looking around. He had a field day the last time New Canaan and Darien met. Along with another shot, another save by Persinger. It's been a goalie battle here in this first quarter. These two goalies coming out to play.
Yeah, and it'll take your best. That'll be a flag on Wildman right there. Cross-check to the back will get you any time, but Persinger's putting his best together. He's got 5 saves already, and of course on the other side, Leiden's going to do great things too. We thought the first game was going to be the goalie match of the ages, but so far we're being treated to an even better one.
Yeah, that was a phenomenal stop by Persinger, and we've seen all game long that this Darien clear, it's really just come down to one breakout pass, one man, and that's not a sustainable kind of strategy going forward in a game like this, especially with this New Canaan ride. They're eventually going to be able to get stops and turn it the other way. So Darien, they need to figure out this clear and fast, and they got lucky that Wildman got the flag there, but if he was a little less aggressive, that could have been going the other way for New Canaan.
And clearing's exactly what closed the door for Staples. They couldn't convert, and now they got eliminated from the tournament.
Blue Wave man-up opportunity, looking to cash in once again, trying to go up 3-0 before the end of this first quarter. Shot far right of Leiden off the stick of McBride. New
Great
Canaan
chase down by
closest to
Harden.
the ball. High point commit, Chase Harden. Able to gain possession for the Rams. Look for the Rams to just clear out the rest of this man-up opportunity.
Looks like
Leiden
Darien's trying to
coming
lock off the shorties on the clear here. They were in the drop ride before.
And Leiden taking it all by himself. Feeds it over to Campese. Just missed pass, bad turnover, costly turnover. 1:05 seconds remaining. New Canaan back on defense.
Yeah, in that scenario, Darien took that shot. They didn't have anybody backing it up, but then on the clear, Leiden was out of the net. They could have just sent some men to the end line and just shoot that ball as hard as they could at the open net for an opportunity rather than that. They call it a punt return clear. One man just takes it all the way.
Thurlow at X feeds it to Bilodeau. Bilodeau near side, guarded by Hayes. Hayes off to play at the University of Denver next fall. Pushing to the outside. That step down shot saved by Leiden.
That's never going to go.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about. Darien, they don't have a lot of step-down guys. It's really Scallon is the only one. They got a lot of great guys on the run and inside, but taking step downs from out far like that, it's not going to fly.
Wyden feeds it over to Hayes. Hayes far side.
Rams only have 3 seconds left. They got to get something.
Have to hurry. And that'll do it for the first quarter of action here on NCTV 78. Darien on top 2-0. We'll see you in just a few minutes for the second quarter of action between these two FCIAC rivals.
First game this afternoon. Championship game will be played here Thursday, May 29th at 6:30 p.m. We look forward to seeing everyone there.
Welcome back here live on NCTV 78. New Canaan, Darien in the midst of a heavyweight fight. Darien on top 2-0. Just before we get started for the second quarter action, take another look at how we got here. Of course, both teams, cruising through their semifinal matchups. New Canaan cruising past St. Joe's. Darien cruising past Greenwich. Meeting now in the semifinal. And New Canaan looking to get to the championship after falling last year to Staples in the semifinal, and Darien lost a heartbreaking FCIAC championship last year to Staples. That Adam Udell goal talked about around the entire FCIAC second quarter of action with the ticket on the line to the FCIAC championship. O'Neal wins the faceoff. Moving back into the offensive zone is New Canaan as he feeds to Reed.
Yeah, it looks like Darien was trying to use Weibel for his size on these faceoffs because in the early part of this season, it was the freshman Chernak, and, they would also put Mariska and even McNamara there at times. But it seems like they're putting Weibel there to try and almost play bully ball with JT O'Neal. But O'Neal, he's so quick with his hands that he's able to escape and settle down the offense from New Canaan, and that's the reason why they haven't really lost any faceoffs.
JT O'Neal has been so good all season for this New Canaan team. Definitely going to be on the ballot for All FCIAC, All State, probably will be All FCIAC first team. He just looks so good against really anyone in the FCIAC this season. As the Fogo position, interesting to talk about too, the goalie situation. Cam Wyden and of course Jack Kroll splitting time. See how that affects. Roeder up top, working down low. Flag flies, free possession for New Canaan now.
They're
an opportunity to come within one of the blue wave if Campese or one of these people on New Canaan can put it in the back of the net. Campese shot saved by Persinger, ground ball. Ball flies free out. On the chase. New Canaan, Darien fighting. Darien stick touches. Will be man-up opportunity for New Canaan, and with the lacrosse game of momentum, New Canaan with an opportunity. How important is it that they seize this opportunity? They really haven't had too much offensive production, but also both goalies have been dominant. How important is it for New Canaan to get something going right now with a man-up opportunity to start this second quarter?
Yeah, I think it's huge. I mean, every single time that New Canaan has gotten even a little bit of momentum, Persinger has grabbed that and snatched it up and taken it for his own. So I think that it's huge here that New Canaan, they get a look inside. I think Roeder or Reed is probably going to be one of the two guys that you want to look to open up for and give him a little bit of a look from outside. Roeder, I would like to see a step down from him. He was able to beat Persinger last time they played, and he's got such a great rip from up top that it would be a good look.
Campese fakes the shot, has the ball checked free of his stick. Check free by Davis.
There's going to be another
Oh,
flag.
McNamara doesn't even have his helmet on, I think. I don't think there was a oh, now
There it
there
goes.
is. But
McNamara missing his helmet. Flag flies in the air.
Yeah, they're going to get him on a trip. And, I mean, for that one, for New Canaan, another unfortunate ending to what I would think is more a lucky man-up opportunity. I mean, Levine cracked a New Canaan player on the helmet by accident, but they're right in front of the ref. They're going to throw that. And on the clear, you're going to get, looks like, all even 5-on-5 lacrosse, which you don't see too often.
yeah, the refs have also definitely been letting the flags fly today. You know, there have been some that probably could have not been called, and, you know, it wouldn't be the end of the world. No one's going to lose their mind over it, but they're definitely letting it fly today and seeing, you know, we're seeing the effects of it.
Yeah, as a former player, I definitely from the school of let him play.
Shot on net, saved by Leiden. New Canaan still on defense. The Blue Wave able to retain possession. It'll be McBride behind at X.
Yeah, New Canaan, they're going to play aggressive here. They want to create the turnover before this gets to 6-on-5 so that they could kill the ball on their offensive end, as just there with Leiden on the chase.
McBride had Sullivan, the short stick on him. Took his shot. Lucky for New Canaan, able to get back. Now move, clear the rest up of this man-up opportunity for the Blue Wave. So that pass errant, far side. New Canaan racing towards it. Unforced error. Ball back to the Blue Wave.
I think that's been the story of the game so far. It's about the third time that they've been trying to stretch the field a little too far with Hayes. Take the simple passes and take what this Darien ride is going to give you.
At least some good news for the Rams. They were able to kill off the penalty there with, you know, that long pass that wound out on the other end line. Now, Darien, they weren't able to set up anything. Now it's back to even.
McBride with Schwartz. Guarding him, the short stick. Matchup, McBride just surveying, looking, waiting for the extra attackman, which is Jeffers, to come on to the field. McBride beats Schwartz with his speed, then feed sidearm pass. Errant of Jeffers, fortunately for him, found its way to Lane. Lane sliding, walking down to X, now in that Warrior end zone. Lane waiting to make his move, 8-on-8.
Someone's open.
Someone's wide open for the Blue Wave. That person, Bilodeau, shot wide, sails high and left of the cage.
Yeah, that was just a miscommunication there from New Canaan. They had two guys sliding on, I think it was maybe Jeffers behind, and they wound up with, you know, players open out in front that shouldn't have been if the Rams had communicated effectively.
Lane still matched up with Campese, comes around the pick, gets his hands free, pass inside, shot, saved by Leiden. All chaos ensuing, ball hits the post. Still
Leiden's
being
finally
fought
able to get
for.
there.
I don't think any shot really got through. I think it bounced off of
Yeah, I think it was
on the
McNamara,
crease
yeah.
and just went from pipe to pipe. Very lucky break in net. Look out.
See, aggressive ride, big hit on Leiden. Fortunately for Cam, his brother Bryce able to pick up the ground ball. See Bryce not scared to run. Quick timeout by Buzzio, sensing the importance of getting something going offensively. Down by 2. And a few unforced errors costly New Canaan's momentum in this first half. You know, coming into this timeout, we'll see if we can get a look at that second Darien goal, possibly. But you see here, just in that timeout, you know, Coach Buzzio talking to his team. PJ, you know, you played under Coach Buzzio. What do you think he's saying to this New Canaan team right now? Down by 2 with 8:02 remaining in the second quarter.
You know, I think defensively this New Canaan team has been playing well. I think he's just telling this offense to settle down, take their time. This game looks very different from the first half of that other game on paper because Darien has actually settled down the possession and they have been able to hold the ball. And, you know, as much transition game there has been, New Canaan has basically been playing their offense in transition the entire time. They have not really been able to settle it down. They had that one possession when Roeder eventually got nicked on the head, but really nothing else. They got to be able to settle this ball down and play it through from behind, which really has not been happening. I would like to see Gray Wildman get the ball a little bit more, and especially Matt Reed, too. I would like to see some action from him.
Yeah, 7 goals against Greenwich for Wildman to 0 shots so far is not a recipe for success you want to see.
And Tommy, you talk about the Darien defense, their ability to shut down Wildman. What have you liked from the way that the Blue Wave have came out here today? Of course, to win this tournament, you have to play the best 2 days of lacrosse you can, and there is no second life. If you lose, you're out, and Darien has come out, sees an opportunity to hop on the Rams early.
Yeah, definitely. We've been talking about how Persinger's been playing 6 or so saves, but that doesn't speak enough for what this defense has been doing. They haven't been allowing the rollbacks from this New Canaan offense. So you'll see them dodge down the alley, and then they'll try back to roll top side to make a pass, and that's where you've seen those turnovers, those picked balls, and where McNamara has really come to shine so far.
Campese with the bubble of space around him. See Mazabras up top looking, did not set the pick. Provided an option down low to Reed. Reed trying to nuzzle his way inside. He cannot, so elects to dump it down low to X. Ball back up top, Campese. Campese long stick on him. Nice swing move inside, and ball check free. And here comes that speed of the Blue Wave, scorching down the field. Pass over. McBride then inside, shot and scores.
That is just what that Darien defense has done so well. McNamara gets the turnover, and then it's been a D-Mitty storming through, getting the ground ball on the first try, going right down the field and making the pass. And what a handle by Max McBride.
Yeah, I was about to say.
From his knees for the assist.
That was a great play by McBride. Mariska, he wasn't able to get all of it on the pass, but McBride was able to get there and make the pass on his knees, and that's the kind of grit and hustle you need in a game like this. But it's been Darien's defense. I've been noticing it this entire game, really. They are playing so aggressive. They are bringing doubles. They are bringing triples exactly when the New Canaan players least expect it, and that's what's created a lot of the fuss in this game is that New Canaan, they're turning the ball over because Darien is playing so aggressive and New Canaan doesn't have their heads on a swivel.
And that's a great timeout.
Smart timeout by head coach Braymeyer, settling things down, able to gain possession. Up by 3, 7-11 remaining after the goal by Thurlow. PJ, you talked about a key matchup to watch, Thurlow and Leiden. That goal, though, not Leiden's fault in transition. Nothing he could do. Defense couldn't get set, but an ability to capitalize in transition for the Blue Wave.
Yeah, and sometimes, when you're in film, you look at goals and you can't even point the blame. You can't even, point the blame on anyone because on that goal, I think it was Campese up top who lost the ball. He drew the triple and just lost it all. And Mariska, he was able to pick it up in transition, 4-on-3. No middies are able to, there are no middies on this New Canaan team. I'm just going to be frank. There's probably nobody on this New Canaan team who is faster than Jack Mariska and is able to get down on field and stop him in transition and try and break that up. And so at that point, it's just, New Canaan, they got to almost pray for, and get lucky that one of these these Darien players dropped the ball. And they almost did with McBride, but it wound up being that, he was able to catch and make the play on his knees, and that, that wound up doing it in for New Canaan.
Yeah, you see right now, New Canaan student section, definitely a lot of students out, but they haven't had much to cheer for. See the replay on the goal, just the ability to stretch it downfield, feed it to McBride, who then passes it inside to Thurlow. Nothing Leiden could do. Thurlow right inside, wide open, able to get his hands free. No one within range of Thurlow, able to net one.
That was a mean move by Thurlow. But, kids in the huddle when they go to practice, they might cringe when they hear their coach say it, but it really does come down to the fundamentals, and that's what we're seeing here today. On that goal, Thurlow gave himself a bigger angle, and then he scored. He didn't go down to GLE and try something dumb. And you've been seeing these ground ball tries. McNamara right before the timeout, he couldn't get it on the first try, so he kicked it out to himself, gave himself space, and it's just fundamental things like that and clearing. Nice saves.
McBride able to use his speed to get past Leiden. Big save by the brother Leiden. Really point blank save. See Bryce pleading his case to
I think
the referee.
Darien is making a fuss that it should be their ball, but it looked like the Darien player is out of bounds, and the rule is that if you're out of bounds when the ball goes out, that it's not actually your ball. It's actually the other team. It's whoever's closest, but in bounds. So I think that might have been what the fuss was, and that's why Darien's getting the ball back. But it looks like New Canaan, they're locking off with both their shorties and trying to just play with their 4 pulls, who are probably the 4 of the best, if not the best pulls in the FCIAC.
Thibodeau working on Leiden. His shot wide to the left of Leiden. Now Hayes up top. Apologies, Roby up top. Playing defense on Scallon, who was able to get the shot off just wide right of the cage.
And when you talk about fundamentals, a lot of that comes with just playing straight up against the attackman. And we talked about the over-the-head checks before. If you land one of those, you'll go back to the sideline feeling proud about yourself, and somebody will tell you, hey, that was nice, don't do it again. But if you missed, they're going to say the same thing, don't do it again. And we saw it missed there, and it led to a shot opportunity. Luckily, it missed for Leiden. But need to see some sound play from this defense.
Yeah, Coach Buzzy likes to let Roby try and hit it from behind the cage where the player is not immediately a threat after, but when he's doing it from up top and, on an alley dodge like that, that's when it becomes really dangerous, and that was an ill-advised move there.
Up top is Wayne now working his way toward the Warrior end zone. Has the shorty in Wunderlich guarding him now. Wayne surveying, elects to go to his right hand, looking for a cutter in the middle. No one home, circles around back, passes to McBride. McBride, good pass inside. Had an opportunity, it was McNamara, just could not haul it in. Far side fighting for the ball, Blue Wave, and a bit of physicality by Leiden. The Blue Wave come away with it.
That was spectacular.
McBride settling things down after a chaotic sequence.
Yeah, and you can
McBride
tell
walks
all
towards the
12 of
corner.
these players on this end are exhausted. They are all, you could tell that they're panting. They're trying to all catch their breath. McBride, probably the guy with the best engine on this Darien team, so no surprise that they're going to him to try and dodge.
McBride, match up with Mazza.
Double
Now
team.
New Canaan doubles, leaving one man open, trying to pressure the ball. Works, then
stick.
picked off by Leiden. Leiden coming, soaring
Roby.
down that far side. Roby able to get past his player on his hip, then looking past inside. What a save by Persinger.
That's probably the 5th time this game that Persinger has stuffed Ronan Hillman on the doorstep, and just nothing Hillman can do about it. He has had so many phenomenal looks right there, and just nothing.
Another shot. That's the one that goes in after the doorstop save. Campisi's shot. Not sure if it hit a New Canaan stick in front. We'll see. I believe Campisi will be credited with the goal.
I think that was just an errant pass. I was about to say, Persinger's 5'7", playing like he's 6'2" in that cage, but just unfortunate off-speed pitch ball from about 20 yards out, and it trickles in.
See New Canaan now on their feet. Lots of claps. Finally something to cheer about. New Canaan bringing it within 2, down 3-1 with 4:38. But talk about Persinger. What a save on the doorstep once again.
And now it's going to see how he responds, because he had a hot streak going for him, and that's the type of goal that you let in that really deflates you as a player. Can he respond and step back up after letting that one in?
O'Neal wins the face-off. Far side, New Canaan settling things down, able to gain possession.
There's a flag down on the field, so New Canaan, they're going to take their time here, see the best look that they could get, and if they could get something like they were trying to get with Hillman there on the doorstep, then that's the #1 look, but it's going to be tough to do. So you want to just try and dodge with one of your best players and try to utilize matchups here.
Roeder up top, pressured high, feeds it to Campisi. Campisi coming around, he takes the shot. Aaron shot high and to the right. Now man up will be activated for New Canaan, an opportunity to bring it within 1. But what a low-scoring affair we have between these two teams. Definitely, if you like defensive lacrosse, you want to stay here because it's been all defense in this first half. Just 3:52 remaining in the second quarter and only 4 goals scored.
Honestly, I mean, what would you expect between these two teams? This is, in my opinion, the 2 best defenses in the FCIAC with, out of doubt in my mind. So I think that, with a defensive affair and only 4 goals so far through the first half, it's not that big of a surprise.
Campese up top, playing a little two-man game, feeds it to Roeder. Down low, lots of cutting action. Ball moving quickly. Hillman down low.
Watch
Pass
out.
inside, beautiful pass, feed, shot and score. New Canaan puts another one past. It's Mazabras right on the doorstep, putting it low side on Persinger.
Yeah, great look from Brady Mazabras. He knew to change levels on the shot there because Persinger, he's been reading this New Canaan offense the whole way through, and he's, it's been Hillman the entire time practically. When he catches it high, he's going high. He's just trying to twist around and get it out as quick as he can. So Brady Mazabras, he realized that he had time. He was able to catch it with his right, almost fake high with his body, and then dip it low and get it underneath Persinger.
That was a great job by the offense overall because Darien, when man down, has been playing kind of this rotational string out play. And normally you see a zone, but there on the back post, he got lost when they tried to press out, and he's wide open for that look.
New Canaan now down by 1, 3:20 remaining, looking to tally another one. But that's kind of the mentality. That's how you're going to have to beat Persinger tonight, right up in his face, trying to go low, changing angles. Well, that's low, high to low. Really, those shots from 15, 20 meters out, not going to be where you're going to find your spot. Far side, Wildman coming around, finds some space, inside shot, deflected, finds the stick of Reed. New Canaan will cycle it and reset.
Looks like Darien might be switching to a little bit of a zone look here, not fully, but it looks like they're trying to keep that guy on the crease and on the backside just hunkered in a lot more.
They're taking their chances with the outside shots with how Persinger's been playing. So this is where you really need a big-time shooter to emerge in this game for New Canaan so you can open up that crease again.
Pass inside, shot by Wildman. Rebound pops free. Lucky for the Blue Wave, they've got defenders in front. Ball back to Persinger. Persinger being chased aggressively by Reed. Reed almost was able to get his stick on. Aggressive ride from the Rams. Blue Wave trying to get it past midfield,
That was
which
an
they
impressive
do.
clear.
Good, strong clear by the Blue Wave. Brameyer calls a timeout, assuming he'll draw up a play. 1:56 remaining in this first half. The Blue Wave up 3-2. Smart timeout by Coach Brameyer.
Yeah, and that was not the clear that you want if you're Darien, but that's the clear that you expect watching this team. I mean, if your goalie has to run for his life from two phenomenal New Canaan attackmen, with a lot more speed than him, then something has just broken down on your clear. And as Coach John Harvey likes to say for New Canaan, either get open or get covered, right? You either want to create space for someone else by getting covered, or you want to get open yourself and get a look. And it really comes down to those shorties. Darien, they rely, and they have relied on for several years now, is that the goalie makes a save or the goalie gets the ball and he just shoots it upfield to one of those D-middies. This year it has been, the Mariska show. Last year it was Lancaster, it was Rubenstein, it was McGuckin, you name it. But Darien, now they've actually, this year, out of all the years in the past, they've actually had to clear the ball like a normal team, and it has just not worked out. You saw there, they're too reliant on their pulls, and that's when things start to go bad.
Mentioned smart strategy, and a lot of coaching adjustments have definitely happened in this first half, right? Because you see a lot of things that don't work. You have to change plan. You mentioned PJ talking about the way the defense changed recently in terms of the way they're playing this New Canaan team, trying to protect the middle. And this game's going to be a game of coaching adjustments. There's still a whole second left. There's still 1 minute and 56 seconds remaining, where Blue Wave trying to go up by 2 once again. New Canaan trying to get back in this game, even it up.
Yeah,
first time since it was 0-0.
We've seen the value of the ball kind of change, because before New Canaan was frantic and they weren't scoring. Last time the Blue Wave had the ball, they were up 3-0. And now it's 3-2. This is their first possession since then. And that's why they took this timeout, so they can use the clock, get themselves set back up, and try to get back on the scoreboard.
Blue Wave up top, moving the ball down low to McBride, who's working on Schwartz with the short stick matchup. You have to be careful of McBride. We've mentioned his speed time and time again, but you can just see it as he takes another step backwards towards the sideline, and then he decides to make his move, blowing right past Schwartz, pass the inside, shot, and a save, sprawling save by Leiden.
Got to have that on your left hand there on the crease.
Another save by Leiden, trying to pass it out. Alex, see a New Canaan player down, injured.
Bryce Leiden, he fell down.
Leiden banged up on the ground. Not a sight you like to see for any player in a tough physical rivalry game. Leiden will get some medical attention. See again, falls to the ground in pain. We'll see you back here on NCTV 78. Or my apologies, it looks like he's limping off towards the sidelines.
Looks like he maybe got hit in a spot that no man wants to, just by how he went down and how that played out.
Yeah, and since he's okay, we can revisit that possession we just saw. It was a great move by McBride, drew his defender out to the sideline and blew right past him. But then the feed to the crease, I didn't get a look at who it was. It may have been Jeffers for the Blue Wave. But if you're wide open on the crease, you got to catch in your left hand and shoot it. He caught it right, he spun around, gave Leiden time to react and time to make that save.
Leiden feeds to Leahy. Leahy trying to clear it. Able to keep his stick above and feed it over to Schwartz. Schwartz making an impressive save. Able to keep the ball in the possession arrow of New Canaan. Near side, Reed over, feeds it to Roeder. Another offensive substitution, on comes Mayock.
Yeah, looks like they moved Mazabras to attack and took out Hillman. And this is the lineup that the Rams really ran with against St. Joe's.
Campese shoots and scores. And then he gets knocked down, but everyone for New Canaan loving that goal. Campese takes a shot. The first time Persinger's been beaten by a shot from the wing tonight. Campese, his second goal on the day. Campese feeling it early on for the Rams.
And you can kind of tell that the momentum has started to go in the New Canaan Rams' favor. The ball has started to roll. The fans are in it now. They're on a 3-0 run, and Darien needs to have a response here.
Good job by New Canaan, right? Get the crowd into it, feed off of some of the energy, and get some momentum under their feet. An opportunity, maybe even with a face-off win, as once again JT wins another face-off, securing possession for New Canaan. 25 seconds remain. Gonna have to go quick. Reed trying to knife his way inside. Elects to move back to X. Retreating, feeds it to Campese. Campese rolling around, looking for a shot, trying to pass it inside, then thrown down by the Blue Wave. And the chase, possession awarded to New Canaan. Now 2 seconds remain. That was just a clear out of desperation for the Blue Wave. 2 seconds left, ball thrown far side. And that'll do it for the first half of action. Live on NCTV, New Canaan Darien in a dogfight, all knotted at 3. Just like the first semifinal, all tied going into half. Who knows what's in store for the second half, but you don't want to miss it. Stay here live on NCTV. We'll send it to our sponsors, and then we'll be back for the second half of action between the Darien Blue Wave and the New Canaan Rams.
There's a wide selection of snacks, soft drinks, pizza, hot dogs, hamburgers. This is a great time to stop by. The refreshment stand.
This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Quest Builders Group, a general contracting, construction management, and consulting company who proudly supports all of our high school athletes. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Dr. William Fessler of Fessler Family Dentistry, the dental office for your entire family's dental needs. At William Fessler Family Dentistry, smile. You're in good hands. We thank Platinum sponsor Frangione Engineering. Planning on putting in a pool or an addition onto your house? Are you having drainage issues on your property? Frangione Engineering can help you find a solution. Platinum sponsors and NCHS alumni Leo and Steve Carl of Carl Chevrolet, who have been proud supporters of local athletic programs for generations. Their dealership has been serving Fairfield County since 1927. Their team is ready to assist with all of your automotive needs. We thank Platinum sponsor Manfredi Jewels. Manfredi Jewels, your local official Rolex jeweler, is excited to continue carrying the finest jewelry and watch brands and welcome the New Canaan community into their newly renovated store this fall. Go Rams! Platinum sponsor Renaissance Partners, a family-owned and New Canaan-based residential building and remodeling company serving all of Fairfield County. We thank Platinum sponsor Walter Stewart's. Walter Stewart's Market has supported NC Rams athletics and the entire New Canaan community for years. Walter Stewart's is your fresh local market. We also thank our Platinum sponsor Hoyt Livery for 30 plus years of service. We would like to thank our Gold sponsor Anderson Kenny Architecture, a full-service practice that encompasses a range of commissioned residential and commercial projects. Each project is a thoughtful collaboration tailored for clients and their needs. The outcome is highly personal, constructed with intention and integrity. We thank another Gold sponsor, Club Sandwich, a family-owned deli right here in town serving the New Canaan community since 1986. They are a proud sponsor of the New Canaan community and all of our sports teams. And we thank NC Graphics LLC, a Gold sponsor who is a constant supporter of the NCHS Booster Club. They are a custom graphics company located right here in New Canaan for all of your logo designing needs. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. The NC Rams All Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan high school athletics. Go Rams!
Third quarter of action, second half. Both teams knotted at 3 right now. New Canaan and Darien in the midst of a heavyweight fight. Myself, John Frieders, to my right, PJ Neville, to my left, Tommy Fox. And guys, we're in for a monster second half here. Between these two teams, are definitely the physicality is going to increase, and we'll see what kind of coaching adjustments both coaches made, Coach Braymeyer and Coach Buzzio, for both sides, and see what happens. We'll turn it back to the action live on NCTV 78. Thank you for joining us for this big monster clash between these two teams. JT O'Neill wins another faceoff for the Rams. And New Canaan, after being down by a couple, able to work their way back to 3-3, but would like to continue adding on.
Yeah, New Canaan, they really came alive, and the second half of that second quarter was really where they turned it on and where they actually got the offense going past Persinger, who was a brick wall for the first, call it 18, 20 minutes.
Yeah, nearly a disaster there. A shot from the backhand bounced off a Darien defender, but Persinger there to grab before it crossed the line.
Looked like McBride was tripped in the middle. Now, bunch of New Canaan jerseys around it. Roby fighting for it. Face-off ground ball not able to be collected by McBride. New Canaan able to clear it.
Yeah, and
Now
Tommy,
looking
you
to get
talked about the fundamentals earlier, right there. That's just a lack of them with McBride unable to get the ground ball.
Yeah, he tried to flip it over his defender and Roby, but it was a 1-on-2 situation. So he flipped it over Roby, and then there was another New Canaan defender there to grab it.
Ball far side, Darien, New Canaan fighting for it. And New Canaan will come away with the ball. See Wildman, my apologies, Reed in deep with the matchup on Benedict. Benedict trying to contain Reed, who's been on a tear recently for this New Canaan offense. And you look at the personnel in this New Canaan offense, very, very young offense that definitely has matured throughout the entire season. You've got Wildman and Reed, the two leading point scorers for this New Canaan offense, both underclassmen.
Nice job by Persinger there.
Yeah.
Ball in front. Darien comes away. Good, smart play by Persinger, able to collect it, give it to the Blue Wave. Here come those speedy legs of McBride as well as Scallon. Scallon able to dump it off, give the Blue Wave an offensive possession. 10 minutes remaining in this third quarter, just 2 minutes in.
Yeah, on that previous possession, Darien defenders just got sucked up the field into a double team, and it led to a wide open man on the crease, but Persinger felt it and cut that pass off. Now Darien with the ball.
Bilodeau to McNamara to Scallon. Scallon far side, feeds it to X. Thurwell working on Leiden. Thurwell back to Bilodeau.
If I'm the Blue Wave, I really want to see Scallon more involved in this half. You know, he burst onto the scene in the first quarter, and then we haven't heard much from him since.
Blue Wave moving the ball around. Leiden trying to pick off a pass. Lucky for him, defense able to recover, prevent anything. Saved by Leiden. Ball pops free. Picked up by McNamara.
It's actually, I hate to correct you, John, but it's Crowlin now for the second half for New Canaan.
Right, goal is switching. Leiden and Kroll have switched at half most of this season. You know, Leiden starts that first half, then Kroll switches. Not something you see often. Kroll in net for New Canaan now. Far side shot saved by Kroll. Far save, then a long stretch pass in the direction
Yeah, that was
of
just
Sullivan.
That was just too far out with a bad angle, with, you know, kind of the far side hands, and Crowley's going to be able to make that save every single time.
Sullivan pushed to the outside, continues to be checked in the back. Will be a cross-checking penalty. We'll see for how long. Man-up advantage for New Canaan.
Once again, just going back to the refs letting the flags fly here. They're not letting up any nonsense, nothing coming here. And New Canaan, this has got to be, what, the 7th, 8th penalty of this game already? There's, you know, been so many flags, and it really, for the volume that we've seen, there has not been a lot of converting on the man up, man down. It's really been a lot of, great defense and just sloppy passes that have led to turnovers.
Yeah, it has not been as physical a game as maybe the box score would suggest with the amount of penalties.
New Canaan man-up opportunity looking to capitalize, find themselves a lead. Low-scoring affair, 3-3 at the end of the first half. Shot and score. Campese with the hat trick. A snipe from the stick of Cole Campese, the junior.
Yeah, Cole Campese, he is a spark for this New Canaan offense. He's already got the hat trick today. And, you see him hyping up the crowd. You see him hyping up the fans. He's trying to get everyone involved here. He's trying to get New Canaan as much momentum as they can. It looks like Coach Buzzy is having a talk with him. That was, a little bit of an excess celebration. And, Cole, he can definitely let his emotions get the best of him sometimes. But right here, it seems like it's been for the better so far, and it's gotten New Canaan all this momentum. And Darien, they have to try and silence it, but it's going to be tough.
There was a lacrosse broadcaster back in the 2010s, Ian McEnany. He'd cover most of the national championships. He had a famous saying that he would say, time, room, bullseye. And that's exactly what that goal was. You left him open, step-down shot from the hash. That's going to be a goal every time.
Mazza pass to Hayes. Ball being fought for. Getting aggressive. Blue Wave come out with it. Now using that speed. McBride settles things down after able to get out, settle things down for the offense. But you talk about it, Campese, he has 3 of 4 New Canaan goals and trying to get this crowd back in, trying to will his team to victory. And definitely a key point, get that first goal of the second half, continue to build a little bit momentum. But you need to continue scoring. 1 goal, not enough, nowhere close to enough with how deadly this Blue Wave offense can be once they heat up.
Yeah, but they need to stop the bleeding. 4 goals in a row for New Canaan unanswered.
Yeah, and it's because Darien, they haven't been able to play it behind at X like they like to because Bryce Lyden has just dominated that matchup against Thurlow. So they've had to kind of be forced to play it from up top. And Roby, he's done a great job facilitating up there and sliding early just like we saw. But, Darien, they have to play out of their comfort zone, which they are not very used to so far this year.
Scallon up top, pick set by McBride. McBride comes off the pick and scores. Scallon, McBride, back of the net. All knotted at 4.
And that's just picture-perfect pick play there. I thought McBride might have gotten away with a little bit of a moving pick. Referees thought there wasn't any contact, so he slipped off to the back post, essentially of where that goal would have been. And he got his hands free and let that one fly really quickly.
Yeah, it was a great look from McBride, and it was a good job by Scallon to recognize that the Rams had kind of overplayed it a little bit. They brought the double for a little bit of time, and I think the shorty, he wasn't able to get in time, wasn't able to see who it was, and that's what gave McBride the time.
Beautiful move by McBride. Able to knot it up at 4. New Canaan wins another face-off. Darien comes away with the ball, and New Canaan fans not happy. There wasn't a flag thrown.
Yeah, Schwartz trying his best to get off the field. He's hopping on one leg. Not a good look for the Rams. Probably your bestie mid there.
Top, the Blue Wave settle things down. Feed it over to Jeffers. Jeffers top of the key. About the 35-yard line, making his charge to the left. Now spinning has Campese on him. Bilodeau and Hayes in the midst of a heavyweight title fight right now. Hayes pushing him to the outside. Saved by Kroll, shot from the outside.
Yeah, just a 15-yard off-speed, high-to-high shot. That's not going to go on many goalies, especially not Kroll today.
Good job by Hayes to continue to get aggressive. Campese hit. Persinger makes the save. Yeah, and a D-to-D pass for the Blue Wave.
We were talking earlier about how the refs were really, letting the flags fly, and then all of a sudden, these past 2 minutes or so, there have probably been 3 things that you could call that the refs didn't decide to. Campese just got leveled after the play there. Schwartz got hacked in the ankle. He had to limp off, and I think it was McNamara who just didn't get any part of the stick, any part of, legal stuff that you're allowed to hack at, and instead just went straight at his ankle. And now these New Canaan fans, they're mad, and for good reason.
Scallon to Thurlow, back to Thurlow. Thurlow up high, guarded by Roby. Pass almost intercepted. Cross crease pass. Black to black jersey. And New Canaan able to make a defensive stop.
That was just
Kroll
a missed
to
opportunity
Hayes.
there.
Kroll continues to walk up, not scared to leave the crease. You saw him score against St. Joe's earlier this season. Aggressive chase by Leiden. His shot wide right of the cage. Persinger still in net, still standing strong, all knotted at 4-13 in this third quarter.
Yeah, and that was a great look by Line. That was, primarily a possession shot. You saw Mazabras back there with no Darien players even close to him. And Line, he didn't really have any other outlets. So he decides to take this shot, and it just goes wide, and it's a free possession for New Canaan, essentially.
New Canaan working around that crease down low at X. Shot and scores! Maddie Reed finally gets on the board for the Rams. That's Wildman, my apologies. Ray Wildman turning the corner, shot and score, firing towards the back of the net.
Yeah, just great move by Wildman. He loves that. He loves that little back foot fading away, and he's able to wrap his stick around and, in front, inside like that. Some may call it a crease crank, but crease cranks aren't illegal in games, so, it's a good look by Wildman.
Yeah, when you have a goalie that's really on fire like Persinger has been today, and he's really seeing the ball well, what you have to do is you have to shoot it when he can't see the ball. And that kind of fadeaway shot, it works toward that, but he shot around his defender as well. And no optics for the keeper to see that one before it was behind him.
Another face-off won by JT. New Canaan back. An opportunity. Had what looked like a 3-on-2.
Mazza just got a little too excited.
Pass. You mentioned, being hard for the goalie to see. I know up here, definitely getting more difficult to see. It's that weird time in between afternoon and night where the sun's not fully set, so there's a bit of a glare, along with the fact that those Darien jerseys are hard to read, black with the blue.
Yeah,
to
John,
Scallon.
I believe that time is called evening, by the way.
Scallon at the 35, working his way down low. Feeds up top to Jeffers. Jeffers has the short stick. Mazza as his matchup. Far side settling things down. Sullivan on defense. Beautiful move.
Oh, great move.
Drag in, drag out. Trying to find a pass inside.
That was just spectacular out of Hayes. I mean, beautiful offense, but even better defense.
Yeah, and that was a great move by McBride on the wing there, but Coach Hawtaw likes to say you can't dodge in a phone booth. And, I mean, right there, point blank, it was just McBride. He made a phenomenal move, and he created space, but he can't get anything if he doesn't move his feet. You got to, work your feet with your hands and be able to create space with your feet as well and try and run away from the pressure.
Mayock switches hands, feeds to Roeder. Roeder far side. Looking to work down low, not in the alley, being pushed outside. At X is Campese. Wildman spinning, opportunity, his shot, backhanded, goes wide. Up and over the net of Persinger. Once again, New Canaan settling things down. Roeder at X. Screen set by Mazabras. Roeder shot.
Oh.
Looks like might have went off the helmet of Persinger.
Yeah, Finn Roeder, he loves the contact. I've talked about it all year long. He loves kind of those bully dodges, but he's also phenomenal at just shooting around the defender and being able to draw contact. And coaches talk about your stick having eyes, and that's it right there. He's able to get around and get his stick to have a look. He doesn't have to have a look himself.
Wildman working his way inside, diving and scores. Took him a moment We'll see what the
Refs gotta
refs
talk about it. The flag is down,
decide.
though, so New Canaan's still going to have the ball. I thought that was a good goal. It matters really where he took off, not where he landed. This isn't college with the goal mouth.
Have to see what they're going to do. New Canaan, all the parents on their feet right now waiting. See what the referees decide. It would be a big goal that if it is allowed, it would be a 2-goal lead for New Canaan. See what they decide.
They're going to say no goal.
They are going to say no goal. See a loud cheer of displeasure from this New Canaan fan section. Not happy with the call. Now Wildman walking over to the ref to hear what they had decided. New Canaan student section getting involved.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be a push from behind, but he was in the crease to start off.
New Canaan will have the ball as the flag was thrown, though. So an opportunity, still man up for the Rams.
Yeah, and, you know, it's high school, right? I mean, refs, they can't see it perfectly. There's no instant replay, of course, but that's an incredibly hard call to make. The refs, they don't have, you know, some sensor to tell you when players in the crease or not. So that is a really hard call to make. And, you know, at that point, you know, if I'm the ref, I would go with the call on the field, which was a good goal. But, you know, I think if it took you that long to huddle, they really had no evidence either way.
I think it comes down just to player safety at this point, because the crease dive will always be a contentious subject. And, I mean, if you allow that goal after there's some question whether he was in the crease, you're putting the goalie at risk. You're putting Wildman at risk because he was getting launched in there.
Yeah.
So just discourage it from the start.
Wildman at the 10 feeds. New Canaan thought they had a goal just a moment ago. Campese cycling. Rams moving the ball on the perimeter. Roeder two-man game. Pass inside. Shot. Checked from behind. New Canaan trying to keep
Darien
the
was
ball
the last
in.
one to touch that, I think.
I think either way it might have been a shot. It would have been New Canaan's ball no matter what.
Wildman retaining possession for the Rams. Rams on top, 5-4. Under a minute remaining now, 59-second shot.
Oh.
Just high and left of the cage. Wildman trying to go low to high, trying to pick off a corner. Far side. Wildman coming around, turning feeds up top. Spread offensive set for New Canaan. Campese near side. Has the long pole matchup, swim dodge, and comes across, back over. Did not use the pick. And feeds to Roeder. Roeder, 30 seconds remaining now. New Canaan taking their time, being patient, coming around the crease. Reed up top, Campese to Roeder. Roeder takes a quick look at the clock now. 10 seconds remain in this third quarter. Roeder far side, coming across. Look, pass across crease, trying to go to Campese, batted down by a Blue Wave stick. Now 4 seconds left. Maybe New Canaan has a shot. Campese far side, near side shot. Saved by Persinger. Don't know if it would have counted, but that'll do it for the third quarter of action. Combined 3 goals between the two teams in that third quarter. One more quarter to decide, in regulation at least, who will punch their ticket to the 2025 FCIAC Championship on Thursday. See you back here live on NCTV 78 in a short moment for that fourth quarter of action. New Canaan up 5-4.
Once again, we want to thank our sponsors, Innovative Health and Rehabilitation, Lax.com, the First County Bank, Farmers Insurance, Metro Team Sports, Orthopedics, Stanford Health, the Fairfield County Sports Hall of Fame and Youth Foundation, Banks Street, Jersey Mike Subs, Clark's Trophies, BK Tri Performance Insoles, Stack Athlete, the Nixon Company, Connecticut Running Company, Ultimate Inc., and Olay Soccer. Thank you, sponsors. Very much appreciated.
Knotted at 5-4 right now. New Canaan on top by 1. Opening face-off of the fourth quarter. JT O'Neal fighting for the ball up against Dylan Weibel. Ball still on the ground. Neither team can get a clean stick on it. Darien does.
Yeah, and you could tell right off that face-off, this is going to be a scrappy fourth quarter. Bodies are going to be flying everywhere, and because neither of these teams want to lose this game, especially against their rival.
It's New Canaan, Darien, always in for a good one. You mentioned two referees normally allow that extra bit of physicality. Expect to see that too as well in this fourth quarter because the refs don't want to decide the game, so they're going to let a lot of contact go. The blue wave down low at X. McBride feeds it to Jeffers. Jeffers far side, top step down shot over the head of Kroll. See Kroll just taking a moment. This is where goalie play becomes extremely important too as well. All the pressure on Kroll as Wyden's on the bench, you know, just watching after really solid first half that he had.
That's the look you want to if you're Darien. Scallon, a great wide open step down shot, high bouncer, just a little bit too tall. Otherwise, that'll go.
Darien cycles, moving the ball around now at X. 5-4 New Canaan, just over a minute into this fourth quarter. PJ, you mentioned it's going to be a good fourth quarter. Seen a lot of good lacrosse between the two games. Nothing short of what we expected. Good save by Kroll on the shot from the wing.
And definitely if I were Darien, I'd look for something better than that. Good time for a timeout there.
Yeah, great timeout by Coach Buzzio. I mean, right in front of him, Will Sullivan under duress. He's got two blue wave defenders on him, and as a teammate, you're not used to holding the ball, especially under pressure like that all the time. So it's a great timeout to conserve the possession for New Canaan, especially in a tight game like this. But, you know, this game wouldn't be as tight, John, as you mentioned, if not for that goalie play. I mean, these goalies have been phenomenal. And Kroll, he got a little bit of that last ball. I think it was McBride maybe on the dodge up the hash. But Darien, they really have not been able to get anything past these two goalies. They have been phenomenal all game long.
And PJ, you mentioned, you know, goalies playing well, and of course that impacts, you know, the shot selection and how important possession is in this fourth quarter. You know, what do you think Coach Buzzio is telling his team right now? An opportunity, of course, with the possession, calling the timeout up by 1, and, you know, just settling things down.
Just hold it like you've been ever since, you know, the Rams got that first goal. They've really been able to maintain possession, and now they're on a 5-1 run. I mean, Darien, they got the first 3, but ever since, they really haven't been able to hold possession. It's been New Canaan, and they just got to keep doing what they're doing. It's, you know, Campese and Roeder who are, you know, I don't want to call it dummy dodging, but they're taking their time. They're going down the alley, and if they don't see it, then just settle it behind with Reed or with Mazabras or with Wildman and get a good look.
Mayock will start with the ball coming out of the New Canaan timeout. 10:25 remaining in this fourth quarter. Near side. Pass from Mayock to Wildman. Wildman coming over or under the screen, looking for a shot. Takes a shot, luckily for him, his teammate closest to the ball, Mazabras, near side, picks up the ball. Long pull on Campese right now. McNamara trying to put the clamps on Campese, who has 3 goals here tonight. Near side, Wildman looking for a dodge, feeds down low to X. Read over, Campese up top, Roeder. Roeder spins. He now has the long pole matchup. This Darien defense holding strong. Coming up top, Campese looking for any shooting space, but can't find any, so pulls it out now. Just moving the ball around, looking for free room. Shot by Roeder. Aiming top left corner, just past the stick of Persinger. And that Darien bench loves the missed shot.
That was a great defensive possession there.
9:20 remaining. Darien trying to clear, so important, which they do. No, a bad clear could be the determining factor in a game like this. Clock ticking down, each mistake magnified in the clutch. Near side, McNamara. Feeds to McBride. McBride retreating to the X with Maza on, waving off other guys, looking maybe for some isolation ball, trying to beat Maza by himself. New Canaan brings the double. Leiden now switching the matchup. Leiden far side.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about earlier. It's McBride. He feels that since he has a shorty on him, he has to dodge every single time. And Coach Harvey loves doing that to you. He did that at Ridgefield a bunch last year as well. When you don't feel that you have enough defenders or defenders that are capable of stopping a player like that you just switch a shorty on him and you bring the slide, and that kind of gets in their head a little bit. And McBride, you see him every single time. He's trying to dodge from X, but it's not working.
So, you saw him dodge a lot and be successful in that first half. And since then, smart coaching adjustment, settle things down, bring the double, and it's worked in New Canaan's favor. Scallon has a goal on the day, moving around far side, looking pass in front. A good defensive play by New Canaan.
That was a good idea by Scallon, but just unable to convert.
Possession, New Canaan, and this New Canaan bench loves it. New Canaan student section, fans, loud parents. This is where things heat up. 5-4 New Canaan right now, 7:50 remaining.
An unfortunate over and back there for Darien. It was well played by their defense, keeping it over the line, but it just looks like Ben Bilodeau is out of gas right now. We've seen him take dodges, and we've seen him kind of take shots, but they don't really have that much speed, and he does look like he's out there huffing and puffing.
Yeah, and I think that just comes with being defended by Will Hayes. Hayes will stick with you the entire way. You're not going to be able to get anything easy on Hayes. And while it might have looked at the start like it was a scary situation for the Rams, and Bilodeau was just going to have his way like he did last time, Hayes is so good, especially in the late game, that he's prepared for anything that comes.
Wildman pass up top. Shot by Roeder. What a save by Persinger.
That's what he's going to feel tomorrow.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing. He's going to feel it tomorrow. That one definitely hurt a bit. Down low at X, New Canaan continuing to pepper Persinger with shots, but it seems every time they take a shot, he has an answer.
Great play by Mazabras to keep that in. I don't even know how he did that. Just great hustle and great balance by Brady Mazabras.
Reed settles things down, feeding to Roeder up top. Roeder, no one in sight, lone man. Now gets the pick from Mayock, goes the other way. Driving far side, back up top, Mayock, ball off the stick. Mayock dives, lays out. Mazabras comes away with it before he's checked from behind. Now ball in the mix, Darien fighting for possession. They come away with it. Persinger looking upfield, elects to feed to defender right next to him.
Darien probably needs to take a timeout here on this possession.
Might be smart, sense how important it is. 6:05 remaining, ball out of bounds. in that corner. Blue Wave bringing the ball up top is McBride. McBride, the junior, committed to Lafayette. At the 40, just taking his time, feeling the breeze. Doubled up top, aggressive defense by Schwartz, 2 short sticks, and Sullivan. He feeds it coming around is Jeffers. Jeffers looking for a shot. Elects pass across. Oh, saved by Kroll. Ball off the pipe. And Kroll going to be thankful for that orange tube around the net. Big stop by the pipe for New Canaan. Take a little ball luck. Back in the offensive zone. Still only up by 1. 5-10 remaining in regulation. Shot off the stick. And collected by Persinger. Fed up now. Darien on the run. 3-on-2, then pull it out. They had an opportunity, elected to just slow things down, you know, realizing, Tommy, as you mentioned, the importance of possessions right now and valuing each and every possession. Pass inside, shot, and scores. Beautiful feed, finished by Thurlow.
You want to talk about energy, that's a juice goal. The whole bench and even the coaches are running and jumping up and down. I was thinking they need to take a timeout because Darien looked out of sorts and really tired. But how about that goal to shut even me up in the booth?
Yeah, that's huge for momentum. And that just comes with, it was Campese who subbed off up high. And that led to it being a 6-on-5 for a short moment of time. So Darien, they were able to cycle it through. And New Canaan, they didn't really realize that they were 6-on-5. So, you know, you keep cycling, but you eventually don't realize that, you know, the guy on the backside, he's got to come over there, and you can't really pin that on the New Canaan defense as much as just the poor substitution.
Thurlow is loving it. The celebration from the crowd. New Darien with a bit of momentum. JT squanders that right away as he wins another faceoff. JT almost a free possession here tonight for New Canaan each and every time. Schwartz met with aggressive checking far side, trying to get free. Physicality, lay a couple of hits. O'Neal staying on as an attacker, coming away far side to Hayes. Quick ball movement in front, shot, and scores! New Canaan! Blake Schwartz, after he was peppered with checks, cuts towards the middle. Beautiful cut, smart ball, off-ball play, puts the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, and I mean, that's what you get with a two-way guy like Schwartz. Schwartz, he grew up playing offense, and you know, he's such a great athlete that he made the switch to defense because that's where the Rams needed him most. But, you know, in transition and in plays like this off the face-off, when JT O'Neal has been a free possession for you and really the difference maker in this game, it comes down to having guys that can play in transition, and the wing play, as good as it has been in years past, it really, you know, doesn't look as good this year because JT O'Neal has played so well by himself. But just when they need it the most, Schwartz, he steps up, and you know, great job by Mazabers on the hustle on the ground ball to get it out and give it over to Hayes and kind of break the offense open.
Just moments after Darien put in the equalizer, New Canaan finds something after a quick face-off win by O'Neal. And then, you know, Schwartz being peppered along that far side, then feeds it to Hayes, and just beautiful ball movement by the Rams, a tic-tac-toe play. Ball finds the back of the net, and you can tell each goal means just that much more right now within 4 minutes of the end of regulation. 3:30, New Canaan up 6-5. Mayock down low, met with a few checks from the stick of Mariska. Up top is Roeder. Roeder with the matchup he likes. Long pole coming across. Push to the outside, switching hands.
Yeah, Levine and Roeder, those two know each other very well. They both play Eclipse together. They've practically grown up playing against each other in the summer. Or, well, I shouldn't say against. They play with each other, but in practice they're always playing against each other, of course. So those two know each other very well, and that's a really good matchup for both sides.
Zabras down low, Now being pushed to the outside. Under the lights here at Fujitani Field.
Wow.
Darien strong check up high on Mayock.
I think they're going to get, hold on Darien.
Mariska's been throwing that wrap check with the one hand. I'm surprised that he's been able to connect as many times as he did. He nearly took the ball away there.
Roeder up top, check from behind. Darien comes away with the ball, then feed back to Persinger, who's still in his crease. Dumps it to his defensive teammate on that far side.
Gotta have a better pass than that.
So important, the clears.
Timeout.
Yeah.
Timeout by
There it is.
Braymeyer. Smart timeout. 2:08 remaining in this fourth quarter right now. Rams up 6-5, and this is a big offensive possession for Darien. We'll start with you, PJ. If you're Coach Braymeyer, what are you drawing up for this Darien team?
I've liked how Scallon has played so far this game. He's great from up high. That's where he flows. And the Rams, they have Braden Roby on him right now who, he loves playing behind. He loves playing at X. And, as good as Roby has been on the stat sheet this whole entire season, it's because he's been playing from X. And he has a lot more freedom and to be creative and throw those checks. And he's trying to do that up top, but it's not really working. So I like that matchup for Scallon and how he's been kind of driving down the alley and getting a lot of step downs from up high. And, that's his bread and butter. He loves taking those step downs and getting those looks from outside. So I think, if you're Darien, maybe a little pick and pop from outside. But, if you're Coach Braymeyer or whoever you are at Darien, free up Scallon and try to get him a step down from, 12, 13 out.
I'm going to echo that. Max McBride has had his way from that right alley dodge as the attacker, and he's been able to draw a defender out and then blow right past him. So if they could get Scallon in a shooting position to draw the slide from him, I think if he gets his hands free, that could be dangerous for New Canaan.
See an opportunity, New Canaan putting Chase Harden out on the turf. Braden Roby, Bryce Leiden. See Will Hayes, all normal suspects for New Canaan, as well as Will Sully. See, now this is where champions are crowned, an opportunity for New Canaan or Darien to punch their ticket to the FCIAC championship on Thursday night. Just 2:08 remaining, but a lot can happen. Darien on top.
New Canaan locking off the adjacents here.
Scallon by himself, looking for a pass, looking for a cutter. He's got the matchup with Roby. Scallon gets past, shot, and scores! Wes Scallon, another step down goal. You see the celebration, the Darien bench going absolutely wild. Everyone mobbing Scallon.
Yeah, Scallon has proven so far that he has a big-time shot, but he hasn't been able to do it on the run or in those jump shots that he was doing before. So they locked off the adjacents. They're saying, hey, go one-on-one with Roby. We don't think that you can beat him. And he just proved him wrong.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what we were talking about. They got a little help on the screen there from McBride, and that just gave Scallon enough of an edge that he was able to beat Roby and beat all 6 feet of that shaft and was able to, get free from him. And that's Scallon's shot. These Darien guys, past and present, love the jumper and possibly no more than Wes Scallon.
JT fighting for the ball, ground ball picked up by Hayes. Hayes coming down, smart timeout by Coach Buzzio. 1:41 remaining. Blue Wave just tied it up, all knotted at 6. Here on NCTV, you want to stay here. What a lacrosse game we're being treated to right now. New Canaan, Darien going at it. Just both teams throwing punches back and forth. Darien with the most recent punch with that Scallon goal. And PJ, New Canaan has to find an answer. They have possession. They have a lot of time. Coach Buzzio just called the timeout. Now, you predicted the last goal with Darien. If you're Coach Buzzio, where are you going with this for New Canaan? It's been such a defensive performance from both teams. How do you find a gap, and how do you find the answer that you need?
The Rams have looked to Cole Campese for a lot of their scoring, but it hasn't been off the dodge. This New Canaan team, as good of as an offense they are, all separately, they are so much better together. And whether it's a guy like Mazabras, Mayock, Roeder, dodging down the alley, if he's able to pop that out after he draws a slide, he could look to his right to X, he could look to his left up top, he could look right on the crease even, but it's got to be something where you're dodging to pass and then get the assist. I like, how they've been working with Campisi so far from out wide, but I would also like to see Roeder take a few step downs. He's got a phenomenal shot and, possibly no bigger in a time like this.
This game turning into an instant classic. Mazabras far side, New Canaan up extremely high. Another New Canaan Darien showdown to the last whistle. Canaan moves the ball around. You see Mayock in the middle. Up top, Roeder. Far side, Wildman. Wildman switches hands, moving down towards the 10-yard line. Wildman dodges, pick set by Mazabras. Up top, Campisi. Campisi looking for some room. I have to assume this will be the last possession for both teams. Down low, Reed. Reed pass up top to Roeder. Shot saved by Persinger. Ball up in the air, bouncing around. Darien comes away with it.
Persinger looked like he played that with the loose hand. New Canaan doesn't like that. Personally, I don't really like that either, but
New Canaan comes away, getting the ball right back. Persinger's got to retreat. See Mayock being pushed to the outside. Crowd on their feet.
And no timeouts left for New Canaan, so they can't draw up anything here.
Everyone jumping up and down.
Oh, that's got to be a penalty. There it is.
That will be a penalty.
That might be another.
Yeah, that might be another unsportsmanlike.
All the way down, and that will be another penalty, an unsportsmanlike. Flag will fly up in the air. See Darien, the defense, realizing what had happened, the disappointment. Mayock hobbles off. Well, knotted at 6. We'll see, the referees are going to meet.
This looks like a 6-on-4, is what it's going to be. And I think if these are both minute-long penalties, I think New Canaan is going to sit on this and try and get it for 40 seconds in overtime if need be. Don't want to jinx it, but if these are 30-second penalties, I think New Canaan is better off going with it here and at least trying to get one look, because JT O'Neill has also been so phenomenal on the face-off that you don't have to try and preserve possession too much that it's going to kill you if there's a face-off to start a potential overtime.
Yeah. When you want to win it, right? You want to end it right now. You don't want to go to overtime if you're New Canaan, because who knows what can happen. You want to take your shot right now. 6-on-4, an opportunity for the Rams to punch their ticket to the FCIAC championship on Thursday.
Looks like it's 6-on-5. Looks like maybe they didn't call the unsportsmanlike.
Yeah, McNamara launched the ball downfield, which is time wasting. You're supposed to just drop it right where it sits. I think he was just trying to capitalize on an open net.
Ball up top.
I think New Canaan, they're just going to hold this one here, and they'll start with possession for overtime. But you also can't pass the ball. Reed's got a hold on it here. You can't, pass the ball, because if he loses it, that was maybe a little bit of embellishment on Reed's part, but still not the cleanest check after the whistle.
I was trying to find an alternative to flop, but
yeah,
it didn't come to me.
And we're going to overtime, guys. All knotted at 6. End of regulation. New Canaan, Darien. There can only be one winner. And unfortunately, there has to be a loser in this game. What a game we've been treated to. Very similar. Darien, no stranger to playing in games like this. Of course, that goal that Udell scored last year, last second, under the lights here at Tom Fujitani Field. It's going to be a strong finish. 4-minute overtime, but this game will go until a winner is settled. New Canaan will have the opportunity to get the first possession. You heard it on the PA system. Next goal wins, whether that's New Canaan or Darien. You'll catch it here live on NCTV 78. New Canaan starts with possession, all knotted at 6.
And this is what you dream of growing up in Fairfield County. You dream of scoring the overtime goal to send your team to the FCIAC championship.
Campese swings it. Roeder. New Canaan going to be smart with their possession. Roeder working.
I think New Canaan, they're calling a timeout now. If they weren't able to get a good look on the man up, they're going to settle it down, get their best offense possible out there, and draw up a play for a playmaker.
Smart timeout by head coach Buzzio. Of course, you only get one in overtime, so that is their timeout. Coach Buzzio sensing the pressure, you know, the importance of a moment like this with possession. And this is where, as you guys mentioned, you dream of moments like this as kids. You know, just shooting a ball in your backyard. You think, oh, what if I was in overtime, you know, scoring game-winning goal. And New Canaan, Darien, both two programs top in the state for a reason in the FCIAC. And everyone knows what this rivalry means to not just these players, but to the towns. See all New Canaan, bunch of New Canaan fans on their feet right now. Same goes for the Blue Wave, and what a moment we're gonna have here. An opportunity for New Canaan to win, and Darien's defense trying to hold strong as they've done all day. Persinger has been a brick wall in net for the Blue Wave.
Yeah, but they're gonna need one more save out of him, and they're gonna need a clean clear. He's made a couple saves, and they haven't got possession because the ball has just trickled out or they committed the penalty.
Yeah, Darien has just given away too many possessions, just like you were saying, Tommy, because they cannot clear the ball. They like those one-man clears like they've had, you know, in the past, but now if New Canaan is able to stop those breakaways and get middies on them, then let their attack go to work. I mean, Matt Reed and Gray Wildman are probably the two best riding attackmen in possibly the entire state.
New Canaan, an opportunity to end it. Ball will start in the stick of Mazabras. Mazabras far side, coming out of the timeout. You have to assume Coach Buzzio has had a play, you know, that he hasn't shared with anyone and no one's really seen yet. Spin move, the shot on net off the pipe. The shot by Wildman going out.
What a hustle.
New Canaan will lose possession. The Blue Wave first to the ball. Far side D-to-D pass. Time is of the essence, but of course it does not matter. Now 3:20. Next goal wins.
Yep.
Brought in now. Head coach Braymeyer calls the timeout. McNamara with the ball. He immediately drops it. Darien bench going crazy. Persinger. See the celebration, but can't celebrate too early, of course. Not one yet, but Darien definitely lots of momentum right now.
Yeah, goalie play, it goes beyond just how many saves you make. It's all about the ground balls. It's about picking off those passes. And it's about diving to the end line when you know that ball could end your season in terms of the FCIAC.
PJ, New Canaan's defense has held strong all season. What do they need to do to come up with what might be the biggest save of their season all year?
Yeah, you just got to communicate here. You can't let the moment get the best of you. You can't let the noise get the best of you. This New Canaan team, you know, they're great at communicating, and you just can't let these breakdowns happen where, you know, something happens and the two slide doesn't come, or, you know, the adjacent man doesn't step over, and that's what could end your end your FCIAC playoffs. And you know, if you're New Canaan, you don't want that to happen. I mean, this team one-on-one probably wins a lot of these matchups almost 100% of the time. So it's really not a matter of, you know, picking out your matchup and trying to dominate it, or, you know, sliding early or anything like that. Just don't let the silly mistakes happen and you'll be fine.
And it's going to fall on the shoulders of Kroll in net.
Darien breaks the huddle. New Canaan's defense has been out there for a moment. Darien with the ball. McBride moving down at the 20.
And this is what they're going to go back to. McBride with the shorty of Schwartz on him, but Schwartz just as athletic and just as quick.
McBride, of course, the matchup with Schwartz. Near side, Blue Wave moving the ball around. Shot selection so important for the Blue Wave. Scallon up top. Scowen thought about it, elected to hold off. Blue Wave moving the ball around, looking for cutters.
Yeah, and this is
Holding
not
that
where you want
X.
to be with Ryan Thurlow back there. The Rams, they don't want to send Leiden and give him a look, but Thurlow, possibly the best facilitator in the entire nation.
Thurlow down at X, looking around, just patient. You see no pressure, so no need. As he makes his move, shifting Bryce, using kind of that cage as a weakness.
Oh, great defense by Leiden. Thurlow, he's trying to get to 5 and 5. Leiden just absolutely denied it.
Good defense by Leiden, standing up Thurlow. Blue Wave still with the ball. Scowen far side. Scowen back down low to Thurlow. Thurlow looking for a pass inside. Good defense.
Oh,
by
great
Leiden.
turnover.
Leiden with the check. That's the type of play an All-American makes. Bryce Leiden, one of the top defensemen in the entire country, coming up big for the Rams. Far side. Now Leiden on the clear.
He's got to get a touch still, I think.
Feeds it to Campese. Campese switching hands, coming down the alley. Campese looking, passes down low to X. Thought about shooting, elected to hold.
Yeah, and you're fine if you're New Canaan with that. You know, you don't want something silly from Campese that could get, you had 3 guys on him right there, in the hole. So you're fine with Campese just passing that off to Reed and settling it down.
1:10 remaining. Roeder shot from the side, up and over the cage. New Canaan closest will retain possession.
Yeah, now you got Brady Mazabras with the offensive midfielder of Connor McNamara on him. The Rams, they want to try and get this matchup onto an attackman like a guy like Reed. You see Mazabras setting screens for him because McNamara, he does not want to, be dodged on, especially not in overtime.
Reed to Mazabras. Mazabras far side, pitches down low. See excitement building, coming around the corner.
Great defense
Reed
there.
pushed outside. Wildman holds.
This is the matchup they got to switch off of.
Darien, you could see they got 4 guys ready to go. Only 30 seconds left. The Rams, they're going to take this one, I'd assume, down to the buzzer.
Wildman looking for a shot. Of course, tough matchup with McNamara. Feeds back up top. Roeder high makes his move. Shot. Saved by Persinger. Big save by Persinger. New Canaan diving to the ball. Closest will retain possession. 16 seconds left. They've got another shot, an opportunity. Ball up top. Spin by Wildman. Feed down low. Shot. Just wide left. And you can hear the excitement. Everyone's on their heels right now. 5 seconds left. They're going to have to take the shot quickly. Campese spins. Looking for another shot. Shot high.
Gotta watch
way
out on the
over.
baseball field over there.
And that one overtime will not be enough to decide the winner of this game. We're going to double OT. All knotted at 6. Going back to the huddle. See how about.
Looks like Campese's cramping over there right in the middle of the Darien huddle. It does not get better than this. I mean, double overtime. Saw that Ridgefield game in the quarterfinals go to triple. I mean, not saying it's not possible, but that would be something, especially between these two.
This is something special, PJ. Tommy, all knotted at 6. Both teams do get another timeout. Of course, for New Canaan, what helps is you do have JT O'Neill off dot. All knotted at 6. This is what you dream about. I know we've said that a couple of times now, but these are the moments that go down historic. They go down in history.
Yeah, and this more than ever is when having a guy in JT O'Neill comes in to help you so much, because Darien, as much as they have been good at creating a disruption in transition and off of the faceoffs, they really have not gotten possession. It has been JT O'Neill that has been the difference maker in this game and gotten New Canaan all of these extra possessions and just possibly one last time. It's going to come down to him again.
Be Weibel and O'Neal. Possibly the biggest face-off of their careers up until this point. JT comes away, clean scoop. Weibel on the chase. O'Neal far side. Weibel runs off the field. New Canaan offensive possession. It'll be interesting. Buzzio, see if he decides to use his timeout.
Looks like he's going to hold it.
Wildman up top, far side. Now moving more deeper and deeper into the Blue Wave zone. Wildman far side, coming over the pick set by Mazabras. Back to Wildman, long pull on him.
Looks like New Canaan is just trying to feed Wildman here.
Wildman shot and scores! Gray Wildman takes it himself, the freshman. What a shot! New Canaan is headed back to the FCIAC championship.
Words can't even capture Gray Wildman and his heroics. That's the second time in double overtime that he's buried a goal for the New Canaan. I mean, twice this season he has won them the games, and it's phenomenal, just that alone. And then you add on the fact that he's a freshman and that he's ripping it on all of these college committed players. And I mean, just words cannot capture how great this kid is and how great he can be.
Isn't that storybook? You're a freshman, first time around in the FCIAC championship bout, and you punched the ticket. So it looks like we're going to see New Canaan and Ridgefield on Thursday.
What a shot by Wildman. I think everyone still just shocked. Interesting, just Coach Buzzio trusting in his offense, right? Electing not to call the timeout, just settling things down, and Wildman takes it within his own hands. Looked like he went low to low too. Unfortunately, we don't have a replay right now, but what a shot by Wildman. Both teams will shake hands, and it's official. Ridgefield versus New Canaan in the FCIAC championship Thursday at 6:30. Live on NCTV. See just both sides of the sword. Celebration in victory and the agonizing defeat for the Blue Wave, falling in the FCIAC championship last year, falling in the states championship, and then following here today in the FCIAC semifinals. But that was probably the best lacrosse game I've ever been to.
Yeah, got to give their kudos. I mean, we can't talk enough about the game that George Persinger put on, the game that Wes Scallon put on. And I mean, for a 4 seed to come and play a game like that against the number 1 seed, taking them to double overtime.
Yeah, and you could tell that it was going to Wildman that entire time. He had the ball for that entire practically first minute of overtime, just letting the Rams settle it down. But you could tell that entire time that it was going to go to Gray Wildman, and it was going to be him. But both sides cannot not acknowledge how phenomenal those goalies were. And Tommy, you said it earlier. We thought that first game was going to be goalie fest and that these goalies were going to make save after save after save. But Cam Lydon kept New Canaan in this game with so many saves that he really shouldn't have made. And you could say the same thing for Persinger and then Kroll as well. But I think that New Canaan defense, they really hunkered around Kroll in the second half. But Lydon, he was left on his head, and he made a phenomenal impact.
And that's just what the importance of the face-off goes to show us, because we talked about the timeouts, how New Canaan didn't take one. It was clear that they had talked about it in the pregame or in the pre-double overtime that they were going to get it to Wildman. And when they were confident they could win that face-off, they got it to Wildman. They didn't need to take a timeout, didn't let Darien recover, and got right to work.
What a game between the New Canaan Rams, Darien Blue Wave. Your final score 7-6. New Canaan on top of Darien. Potential to meet in the state playoffs. Before we go, we want to thank our entire crew, our producer, Caden Leslie, our 3 Darien kids, of course, Griffin Banks, Charlie Imbrogno, and Keith Davey, our advisor, Roman Sobolski, our camera operators, Avery Jakovich, and Charlie Place. Charlie, who's on the field right now, capturing that great shot of celebration for New Canaan. And the guys to my left and to my right, PJ Neville, Tommy Fox, what a game we had here on NCTV. Thank you for joining us. Now we'll send it to our sponsors.
This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Quest Builders Group, a general contracting, construction management, and consulting company. This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Quest Builders Group. This game is sponsored by our NC Rams All Sports Booster Club Platinum and Gold sponsors. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Quest Builders Group, a general contracting, construction management, and consulting company who proudly supports all of our high school athletes. We would like to thank our Platinum sponsor, Dr. William Fessler of Fessler Family Dentistry, the dental office for your entire family's dental needs. At William Fessler Family Dentistry, smile. You're in good hands. We thank Platinum sponsor Frangione Engineering. Planning on putting in a pool or an addition onto your house? Are you having drainage issues on your property? Frangione Engineering can help you find a solution. Platinum sponsors and NCHS alumni Leo and Steve Carl of Carl Chevrolet, who have been proud supporters of local athletic programs for generations. Their dealership has been serving Fairfield County since 1927. Their team is ready to assist with all of your automotive needs. We thank Platinum sponsor Manfredi Jewels. Manfredi Jewels, your local official Rolex jeweler, is excited to continue carrying the finest jewelry and watch brands and welcome the New Canaan community into their newly renovated store this fall. Go Rams! Platinum sponsor Renaissance Partners, a family-owned and New Canaan-based residential building and remodeling company serving all of Fairfield County. We thank Platinum sponsor Walter Stewart's. Walter Stewart's Market has supported NC Rams athletics and the entire New Canaan community for years. Walter Stewart's is your fresh local market. We also thank our Platinum sponsor Hoyt Livery for 30 plus years of service. We would like to thank our gold sponsor Anderson Kenny Architecture, a full service practice that encompasses a range of commissioned residential and commercial projects. Each project is a thoughtful collaboration tailored for clients and their needs. The outcome is highly personal, constructed with intention and integrity. We thank another gold sponsor, Club Sandwich, a family-owned deli right here in town serving the New Canaan community since 1986. They are a proud sponsor of the New Canaan community and all of our sports teams. And we thank NC Graphics LLC, a gold sponsor who is a constant supporter of the NCHS Booster Club. They are a custom graphics company located right here in New Canaan for all of your logo designing needs. Again, a big thank you to all of our sponsors. The NC Rams All Sports Booster Club supports all New Canaan High School athletics. Go Rams!